Today I'm going to show you best studio furniture for boudoir photography. In this class, I'm going to walk you around my studio and show you what kind of furniture I use for my boudoir and nude photography sessions. So let's start from this corner of my studio and take a look at this cute yellow chair. So what I like about this chair is that it has two arms that are actually elevated and it has a back. So when I pose my subject using this chair, I can also position their hands, their arms in a way that are closer to their face, that are extended a little bit. So there's a variety of poses that I can work on with attention to their arms, or creating dynamic poses using their arms. So poses like completely sitting and facing the camera, crossing legs, sitting on the side, extending legs, leaning against the armrest. Look how easy and comfortable it is for me to lean against. So that's why I like this chair, because again of this armrests that are higher than the normal chair would have. So another reason why I like it, again because of the armrest, I can work on standing poses where my subject completely is leaning against the armrest. So this is a good support for the subject, and also it is stable and comfortable enough to sit on the side of my chair. All right, so let's move to this very simple stool. So this stool I usually use to create variety of fashion style of poses, and also for some erotic style of poses. So what I like about it is the bars that are on the side of the chair, which help me to position legs differently. So I can go with poses where one leg a little bit elevated, one is a little bit lower. I can extend one leg and help another leg to kind of hold the pose. So also I can work on some poses where my subject is just sitting on the edge of the stool, or sitting completely with legs open. Love the stool, very inexpensive item, and you can achieve a variety of cool poses. Besides sitting, you can also go for standing, leaning against the stool as well. So let's move to this one. This is a kind of a new item in my studio, which I started using and I fell in love with this, the design of it. So you can see there is a opening on the back of the stool. This is more of like a contemporary style, which works perfectly for the style of my studio. It has armrest kind of here, blends with the back of the chair, same height as the one that I just showed you, the yellow one. So with this type of armrest, I can pose my subject and elevate her arms easily. But what I love the most about this chair is the opening that I just showed you. So I use this chair a lot for my nude sessions. Because I can actually pose my subject like this, where most of the body, the private parts, are going to be covered with the chair, but you can still see that the subject is nude, but it's very elegant. Even if you're going for this very kind of erotic style of pose where the subject is opening completely, like keeping knees apart and opening legs, it still looks elegant because the mid area is kind of covered. So, and you can go for poses like this. So very, very fun to work with. And again, I started using this chair and it's one of the popular items now in my studio. So let's move to my posing tubes. Posing tube that I utilize for boudoir, nude, and portraiture. They're very versatile. With these posing tubes, you can achieve dynamic, beautiful poses, variety of poses. That's why I love it. And they are also called Russian dolls, which means you can stack one in another like this, and you don't need much of space to keep those tubes. So if you're working in a smaller space, this is an ideal solution for you. So I can work on poses where my subject is sitting on the side, something that you can also achieve on the bed, on the bench, on the floor, poses where my subject is facing the ceiling, almost kind of lying on the tubes poses, and poses where you're mainly focusing on your subject back and the booty and legs, so facing away from the camera, those type of poses. So besides lying on the tubes poses, you can go for sitting poses as well, and the smaller tubes can help you to elevate your subject legs and again achieve variety of different poses. You see how versatile it is? Like you can come up with any pose, and because they're all different height, you can utilize it based on the pose you're going for and the subject you're working with, her height and her body shape. They also have, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tubes of different sizes and also 3 cushions that can be used if you need to still adjust something. Okay, so we're moving to this side of my studio with the bench. And you're gonna see many sessions, many of my sessions where I'm using this bench. I love this bench because it has 2 armrests on the side. Not every bench has armrests, so this bench has, and I'll show you how they help me to achieve dynamic poses. Because of the armrest here, I can position my subject legs differently, like I can elevate one leg and one can stay on the bench. I can utilize this side, this armrest to kind of hold the pose with her head, kind of like this. So you can see how the armrest help you to elevate different body parts and make your pose look more interesting. For example, if your subject is on the side, this side of the bench helps you to elevate the upper body by positioning arm on it, right? If your subject, let's say, on her knees, again, by elevating the arms and crossing them helps to create interesting pose, right? If it was a little bit lower, I'll show you how. Not everybody can go with that pose. Some people more flexible can, but it's kind of very difficult. So your upper body is way lower and it's more uncomfortable. So this area, this arm actually helps to achieve the pose and make your subject be in that pose more comfortably. So yeah, this is one of the most popular items in the studio that I use for pretty much every single client. Moving to this chair. I use this chair for makeup and hair session. Very comfortable. My makeup artist doesn't have to bring her chair. I have one available for her. And after the session, the makeup and hair session is done, I use it for my boudoir sessions and also headshots and regular portraiture. So the arm over here helps me to pose my subject arms, and I can achieve different poses by either crossing the legs or extending legs and things like that. One specific pose that I use with this chair, especially if I'm working with heavier body subject, I position my subject behind this chair to hide the mid areas, like insecurities that most of us women have are in the mid areas, and pushing the hip to the side to highlight the beautiful curve of my subject, meanwhile hiding all the imperfections in the mid areas. And everybody loves that pose because whatever it shouldn't be in the frame is not there, and what the best features of the subject's body, they are actually there, which is the leg and the hip and the breast. So works perfectly for those type of poses. All right, moving to the lounge chair. This lounge chair is also very versatile. I use it a lot. Not only it's very cute, it goes well with the interior design of my studio. It's not too classy because majority of lounge chairs are very classy, and it's not too modern. So it's somewhere in between, which works perfectly for the style of my studio. What I like about it is that this back of the lounge chair allows me to pose my subject leaning against with legs, let's say, on the lounge chair, or with legs down touching the floor. But again, this is very comfortable back to lean against. It's not too high and it's not too low. So it's perfect just for posing. Also, what I like about it, my studio is not too big, and I cannot actually have big couches in my studio. And I can achieve all the poses that I could achieve on the couch, but on the lounge chair with the subjects of different heights. Because I don't have any closing parts on the side of the lounge chair, I can extend my subject legs and place my subject completely on it. Even if my subject is very tall, it will still work for her because there is nothing that is blocking her legs. So poses on the side, poses on the back, poses on the other side would work using this chair, with this lounge chair. You cannot use it for poses on the belly with people of different heights, because you can pose your subject only with legs kind of going that direction. For me, for my height, which is 5.3 is okay, but maybe for taller girls that wouldn't work. But again, depending on what size of lounge chair you have in the studio, maybe it will still work. But for the rest of the poses, sitting, laying, leaning, kneeling, for all those poses, this lounge chair is perfect. Okay, so moving to my bed, which I don't have a bed in my studio. My studio space is small, so I don't have an actual bed, but I have a air mattress. So this is my air mattress that I'm going to show you a little bit later, how I use this and where I place this air mattress. It's super easy to use. I can fold it. As you can see, it's pretty small, and I can store it in my closet, in my studio closet. And if I don't need a bed, which not every client wants to have a setup with a bed, so I don't use it. But if my client requests a bed, it's right there, available for them and for me. Okay. Let's talk about this chair over here. Also kind of a must type of chair for boudoir photography, and I'll explain you why. It's the poses that you go for with this chair, also versatile and different than you can achieve on the chairs that I showed you earlier. So chairs, the poses like this work for pretty much every single woman, where you can focus on the side of your subject body, on the back and the booty of your subject body, and you can focus on her face and do some portraits and her legs, right? Also, you can achieve a variety of poses kneeling on it, and again focusing mainly on the back, the legs and the booty. And this is a cool chair for male boudoir photography because my male subject can just lean against it, just sit nice and comfortably, kind of like that. One knee bent, one is extended. So I can use it for both, for male and female photography. What you have to keep in mind before I forgot about it, when you're investing in a chair like this one, make sure that the back is not too high, because for people who are shorter, it's very difficult to position their arms on the chair. So ideally, I would say this chair is not ideal. Well, if it was like a little bit shorter, would be better. And also you have to pay attention the width of the seat. If it's too wide, what's happening is difficult, again, depending on the body type, it's difficult to position your body, because if it's a shorter person, the legs are shorter and they're not going to look as flattering on a chair like that. So imagine if the seat is a little bit bigger, it limits the ability to pose legs on it. So you have to keep that in mind when you're getting a chair for those poses, like this one. Okay, this is also a new lounge chair in my studio that I absolutely love. It has this modern look. It's very similar to the one that I just showed you, the green lounge chair. It's the same size, but it's just different color and different styles. So I utilize it for this side of the studio where I have white walls or brighter backdrops, and it blends nicely, it goes well together. So you can do the same poses that I talked about, that I used for the green lounge chair. And besides those, you can also go for poses where your subject is sitting, let's say, on the floor and leaning against the chair. So for example, my most popular and best-selling poses of my subject sitting on her booty on the floor, and with the height of this lounge chair, it's not too high, it's actually easy for anybody to position her head on the lounge chair and keep her pose. It's like it helps to balance the pose, and it just makes it so easy to go for that pose. So, or just leaning against the chair, or falling off the chair. Again, it's not too high, and if you want to go for more creative and interesting poses, this is ideal height for those. So I'm going to show it to you. So it has the back for the legs. You can ask your subject to place your booty on the lounge chair, legs on the back of the chair, and slowly slide down. Okay. So for poses like this, for example, I don't know if it looks good or not from the side, or like this. So yeah, as you can see, having variety of furniture, having a couch, a lounge chair, a bench, a variety of different styles of chairs, a stool, allows you to come up with variety of poses, which means the more poses, the more setups, the more versatile your setup looks, the more chances for you to make a better sale and let your client choose more and buy more after the session. And now I'm going to show you how to set up an air mattress in your studio, and how I will explain how I position and why I position it right there. So here is my air mattress. I believe it's a full-size air mattress, very comfortable to use. I've been using it for over 4 years, or no, 3 years. So I buy this type of mattress every 3 years. So it will last you for 3 years. This specific one is by King Coil, and it's a good quality, and you can inflate and deflate it by just plugging it in. So it's very, very convenient, very easy to use. So all you have to do is just to plug it in and press on button power, and that's it. And it's ready to use. So I have this corner in my studio with a fireplace and the lights. These are practical lights. They are dimmable practical lights that I usually keep behind my bed setup. So what I usually do, I don't like the typical bedroom setup where the bed is usually positioned touching the wall with the lamps on the side, and just like I avoid this type of setup because all my clients, they have that style of setup in their bedroom, and I want it to look different. I want it to look more creative. So what I do, when I inflate my air mattress, I position it either like this, slightly away from my wall, and you can see it is, here's my corner, right? So it's right where my corner is, or I can turn it this way, horizontally. And I have some space again behind. So why I do it, again, this is the brand, if you want to look for it. Why I do this. With practical lights and my bed slightly away from the wall allows me to create a depth of field in my photograph, so it's not flat. With the lighting that I go for, usually it's more of a moody in this area because the walls are dark, so I love to create moody style of images. And with the practical light and slightly separation of my subject and the bed from the wall, it will give that beautiful depth of field, and my image is going to look more three-dimensional, more dynamic. That's it pretty much. So sometimes I also add plants that I have in my studio, and I randomly position them here and there. I can create with the plants some foreground as well. So if I position here, I can actually shoot through them. Actually, let me show you how it looks. I'm gonna bring one of my plants here. So I can place them around the bed, and if my subject is somewhere here in the middle and my camera is where my actual camera right now is, I can photograph through the plants and create the foreground. So this way, not only I have background, I have midground, and I have foreground as well in the photograph. It looks more three-dimensional, it doesn't look flat, it looks more interesting, more creative. So This is the way I set up my bed. My clients love it. It doesn't look like a typical bedroom. It looks more creative, and I can achieve really nice dynamic images with this setup. When you're choosing furniture for your studio, keep in mind the weight of the item. All my items here in the studio are lightweight, so I could move my furniture around the studio without putting so much effort and avoiding being tired by the end of the session. So the places where I shop for my furniture is usually local stores. For example, here in Sanford downtown in Florida, we have Rios Decor and More. So that's one of the local stores that I buy all my furniture. I love to support local business, and I would recommend to do the same. So find a local furniture store in your area where you can find cool items for that are not very expensive. Another place where I shop is Facebook Marketplace, where you can find used items but still in a pretty good condition. So all the information about the furniture items I just showed you in my studio you can find in the description under this video. And if you find a cool, unique furniture item for your studio, please don't forget to share it on our BIB community through BIB TV application. We would love to see what you purchased, where you purchased, and how you're gonna use that or another furniture item for your boudoir session. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to check on the equipment for boudoir photography course, which we just updated, and it's available on BIB TV. The information you can find in the description. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.